Alright, I am sorry about that. Now, I'm pretty sure this is uh, that other stream, which is gonna be part 1, is gonna get finalized now. So, I'm pretty sure it's not gonna stitch it together. So, this is gonna be part 2 because for some reason I keep crashing the system when I'm doing these live streams. So, forgive me for it. You know, I can't stop the tech or the electronics from failing. I gotta work on that. I don't know, maybe I should tone down the encoder or something like that. Because it didn't look like I was using a high amount of processing or something like that. Because basically what happened, I was just trying to read the chat and I'm like, oh, not again. So, thanks for everyone that's been sticking around. I always appreciate you guys. You know, you stick through me through the thick and thin, through my crashes, and all that stuff. So I appreciate it. So I'm not sure if this is gonna be a part 2 or it's continuing on, but either way it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna give people a few minutes to come back, just in case you know, give everyone a few minutes here. So we're taking a short minute or two intermission just to so I can use the restroom too. So I guess crashing the system gives me an excuse to go use the restroom. So if you guys want to go grab that coffee, go grab that drink, go grab that tea, green tea, that water, hydrate up. You know, maybe you want to get that notepad and take some notes. It's all cool. So I will be right back in like 90 seconds. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, CR is back. Well rested, well hydrated, and coming back with a vengeance. Yo, Will, what's up? From Just in Time Prepping, welcome. You're just in time. So I guess I might as well bring up the intro again. So I'm pretty sure this is gonna be a second part here. Hi. Alright. Alright, so I'm back. Um So basically, not sure where I left off, but it doesn't matter. I'll just start something new. Oh yeah, yeah. I guess I was talking about this. Basically, I got a poncho in here and some rain pants. I'm trying to figure out what I could do with this. I know Gray Man said something about shelter. I'm like, yeah, yeah. That's a good idea. Actually, there's probably one thing I probably could do. I have a pocket right here. Maybe I could put something in here. Maybe, let's say tape, for example, in this pocket right here. So, let's say I make a hole in the poncho, or, you know, maybe, or I rip the pants a little, I can make repairs. So I'm not stuck on the side of the road with, like, rips in the poncho getting rained on. Especially if it's pouring rain. And there was this one time I've been out. Yeah, I'm like, oh, it's not the rain, it's not the rain. I'm not that far away from home. What happens? It starts pouring. I had to resort to using a garbage bag. Yeah. And it was only like plus 10 Celsius or 50 Fahrenheit out. Like, it wouldn't have been bad if I was dry, but because it was pouring out, I was getting soaked, and water pulls heat away from the skin, the body, so much faster than the air can. I'm like, and you know, it was windy too. I was just like, I got back home, I'm like drenched, feet are drenched, pants are drenched. I'm like, okay, it's a little bit chilly. Got out of the wet clothes, hopped in the shower. I was just like, yeah, never again. Never again. So, so I might change the zipper pulls here. Maybe I'll add something right here. Maybe I'll add like a carabiner or something. I mean, this can obviously fit in a bag. I mean, I can fit it in my bag quite easily. Put it at the top, so I have that. In case it rains, in case it pours again, I have it with me. Providing I actually have this with me. That's the thing, too. There's no point in having anything at times. If it's not with you when you need it, it's no use. Alright, I'm just gonna bring up the chat here. Hey, that's awesome. That's awesome to hear, Will. That's really awesome. And once again, I'll say it again and again and again. I appreciate everyone that drops by on the live streams, taking the time to watch me, even taking the time to wait for me to come back. So, and again, I'll bring out the big heart. So, thank you. Anyways, so if anyone's got any more ideas about this, something I can do with this, let me know. But in the meantime, read some more your guys' comments and get to the next thing here. It's a poncho and rain pants, Will. Hey, and Puppy Breath's back. Welcome back. A fire making kit, Corey? Well, this is more for shelter. I mean, I guess I could slip like a lighter in if I wanted to. Like, as I open it here, I mean, there's still room. I mean, like, I can obviously put a lighter in here if I want to. But this is more for shelter. I mean, maybe what I'll do here is I'll add some line in here, some cordage in here. So when I'm wearing like the pants, the rain pants or the jacket, I could like tie around the ankle part or the waist. So let's say it's raining, it's cooler out. I could stuff something in within it for dead airspace for insulation. Let's say let's say it's like below 50 Fahrenheit, below plus 10 Celsius. In the single digits, maybe it's 45-ish Fahrenheit. It's raining. It could be for me it could feel like it's colder out or cooler out. We're having that extra insulation or dead airspace might help. I mean, I've done that before. Sometimes with these, I'll just kind of, depending on what's going on, especially if it's windy out. If it's raining, windy out, I mean, that'll just pull the heat away from me so much quicker. Especially if I'm traveling greater distance. I'm outside for longer than 20-30 minutes. So I'll definitely probably add something in here. Maybe I'll add some, like I said earlier, I'll in this side pocket right here put something like duct tape or whatever so I can make repairs on it just in case I rip it. I mean, it's still a poncho. I mean, it's not really thick, so it's possible to get holes in it or to rip it. Or it could be I'm next to a fire and an amber just burns a hole. I'd be like, hey, I can patch it up at least. So a bunch of stuff I'll just keep in mind. Maybe I'll change out the zippers, have bare zipper pulls, something like that. So I'm gonna read what you guys are talking about because you guys are probably writing a lot. And alright. Lady Luck, there's more of the kits to come. This is just a drop in the bucket of what I have. Not saying I have a lot or have the best gear, but I have a substantial amount, or I feel like I have substantial amount, or enough in my case. I mean, yeah, it can get better. The gear could be better. I could have more bandages. Maybe an extra lighter or two would be nice too. But I'm not down all the way down here, but I'm not all the way above here. I'm somewhere in the middle. I'll have to see about the stakes for something like this. I still have to add some tent stakes in with some of the bags I have. Still working on that. I'll probably pick up some lightweight aluminum ones. Try them out, just so I have it. That way I don't have to recreate tent stakes from wood if I don't have to. I mean, like, you can, but it's time consuming. And depending on the situation, you might want to save time. And aluminum's not, those wouldn't be too heavy, and it would take a little bit of room, but I should be able to, like, slap them onto a bag, or even outside the bag if I wanted to, or find a pocket to put into on the bag. Great, man, you just make me want to make me want to make a full survival kit out of it. Hey, I mean, yeah, I don't mind. I mean, this is meant to support what I usually would bring anyways. I would put this in a backpack. I mean, I wouldn't. I'm still thinking of putting extra cordage and the duct tape or cargo tape into it, because I know for sure I can use it with this. Some of that other stuff, like a knife or whatever, I probably would have in a different, in my pocket or in different part of the bag. Not this bag, but like the backpack that I would put it into. Exactly, lady. Look, it's better to have and not need it than to need it and not have it at all. And like I said earlier in part one, before I got cut off too, it's great to have gear, and such, but if you don't have it when you need it, or you didn't bring it with you, or it's sitting at home, it's no use to you at that time because you don't have it when you need it. Having a lot of fire? Well, just wait till I show off my really big fire chest, which is actually sitting right above me right now. It's full of fire stuff. Not only just like lighters or matches or ways to spark or solar, but there's also like sources like for example, con rounds, con pads, wax, magnesium, fat wood, lighter knot, birch bark, a little bit of cattail fluff. You know, a few examples of things I have with that. But you guys will have to wait for another video, another live stream or video about that, because I'm not showing that off this time around. Uh, GMO just wants, Green just wants me to kind of just bring out the firework stuff right now. Don't worry, that'll come within time. I can't share or show everything here, or else I wouldn't have content for like next month. Let's just say there's a ferro rod in there, like this one right here. This is actually usually what I put in there. I haven't finalized where to put this one yet, which I've received from one of my subscribers who graciously donated, well, gifted it to me. In just case no one's seen this, I'll just kind of share this again. I've shared this before on a live stream, but basically, Ranger band, I got a backup flint, piece of flint that's sharp, so I can use it like a cutting tool or a scraper of some sort. More Ranger bands. Ranger bands can burn if need be. Now, I braided trail marking tape onto this piece of cordage right here. So, depending on what's going on, I can expand it or contract it. So I got that. So this ferro rod, even though the handles are orange and stuff like that, I mean, if you're making fire, I mean, you're gonna stand out anyways. Pretty much anyways. I rather have my ferro rod, lighters, matches kind of stand out. So, let's say dimmer conditions, lower light conditions. I'm not putting this down and being like, getting my fire going or whatever on the side and forgetting about it and misplacing it, and you know, maybe it's on the tarp or something, and I go lift the tarp and like, where's my ferro rod? I don't see it. At least this way it's a little bit easier for me to see. Now, what I did was, this piece of cordage actually has an internal amount of, well, strand of, right here you'll see, that's actually jute twine. So I actually have jute twine with this. It's with the cordage. And of course, right here I got the Arbor Canadian jam knot right here. So I can put it around this, the rod itself, secure it, put it on my shoulder or something like that. Clip it onto me, clip it onto a belt, you know, stuff like that. Or put it around something. So, just so it's, I have multiple options to carrying it. Hard to lose. If I need a trail marking part of it, I can remove it if I wanted to. It's really easy. I just slide it off. I just have to undo kind of these stopper knots that I have. Like on this right here, I just undo that knot, pull it out from the ferro rod, the handle, the hole in the handle, and just pull the trail marking tape off and undo this zipper chain sennit that I put onto it, if need be. So hopefully that's enough fire for you right there. Great, man. Alright, then read your guys' comments again. Ooh. Nathaniel. I'm not trying to tease or jute twine Nathaniel. Just kidding. Too many puns tonight. No, to be honest, right now we have a restricted fire ban in this area, so no fires. No fires. Barbecue or propane only. No fires, no wood, or charcoal or anything like that. I might be able to get away with solar, but but that would be more for like making charcoal for cooking purposes. And of course it's night, so I can't do it right now either. And I'm inside, I'm not lighting a fire inside. Come on. That would be careless and irresponsible of me. Oh, hey, thanks guys, I appreciate it. I appreciate that you guys think it's cool. So Nathaniel, like this light, like a lighter like that. Oh, by the way, this lighter right here, I actually found this randomly. Like literally, I was at my friend's place. I was just kind of like helping him like take some garbage to the bin, and I was just walking back. Like this is like a complex type of area, right? Where they all share like a bin and stuff like that. I was just walking through a path back to my friend's place. I just saw this on the ground. I was like, hey, there's a lighter on the ground. I removed the child safety, of course. I was just looking at it. I was just like, I checked it with like a flashlight that I had. And I'm like looking at the fluid level. It's like way at the top. I'm like, yeah, cha-ching. So, another mini big lighter I found. So, you know, it pays to actually pay attention to the ground. You know, spatial awareness. Because, you know, you never know what you can find. I mean, sometimes it's not always going to be a lighter or something, you know, Sometimes it's, you know, and of course later like this, you don't know if it's got fluid when you see it, because you can't see the fluid initially, but sometimes you shake it and you're just like, hey, or you check with a flashlight underneath. Which I'll get out here. And you're just like, alright, see? Something like this. And you're just like, hey, check that out. Oh, you guys probably can't see it because my camera's probably not showing it really bright, but it's right about there. And of course, here's another tip for you guys right here. These lighters, like bright green, yellow, white, red, anything that's not darker color, with a flashlight, and let's say you had some tape with a flashlight like this, you could make this into a diffuser, you know, if you had the signal. Tape that around, put some cordage at the end of like your flashlight or whatever, kind of make something that's similar to with like a glow stick. It's a signaling type of halo. It's also known as a buzzsaw signal, but basically you would spin it with cordage and make this big halo of light that probably could be seen for a great distance away. Like if you had 50 feet of cordage and enough room, you can actually make a halo that's probably like 100 feet wide, providing you're not hitting anything with it. I mean, you signal with that, you're going to grab attention. People are going to see that if they can see that far out. And of course, I've had videos showing this before too. So, you know, you would wave this around. Like I said, tape this, have some cordage at the end, for example, and wave this around. And this is just one way of me having like a diffuser for signaling, for example. There's other things that can be used as diffusers, not just that. Alright, I'm just catching up on the side chat right here. Like I said earlier, I have slow-mo on for every 7 seconds. Because my monitor's right behind me here, so I can't actually see it because I'm facing, like, my frame is on the ground, or stage is on the ground this time. Oh. Hello, Animal Lover 33. Thank you for dropping by. I appreciate it. And welcome. Thank you for dropping by, Sue. Yes, I'm reading it right now. You're probably already gone, but thank you for dropping by. I appreciate it. So, you know, if I miss your guys' highs or buys, I'm sorry. I'm trying to read the chat. You know, all that stuff. Yeah, but you know, you guys know how fast it can go, especially if you got a full house. Yeah, Nathaniel, exactly. You gotta respect those fire bans. I mean, let's say you were going out for a weekend and there's a fire ban. Well, you know, you don't have to find alternative options. Maybe an alcohol stove or something similar to that, or you bring a propane type of thing. I mean, you hope that there wouldn't be one, or if there is, you're like, come on, rain. Because usually if it rains, they'll lift the fire bans. Or at least tone it down to like maybe an advisory or something like that. Because right now, in this area, we have a restricted fire ban, so it's all the way up at the highest level possible. That extreme. So it's gonna be, on a map, it would, on the fire ban map, it would look red. Not orange, not yellow, but red. You bought a whole box of cheap lighters, Nathaniel. Lately, you know, I've been finding so many lighters at times. I'm just like, huh, I don't even need to go buy per se lighters. Like that one right there. I got another one too. That's just sitting above me in my fire chest. I mean, let's see, it's May, end of May, coming up to June. I've already found like what 10 lighters this year already for 2018 with various amounts of fluid. Some of them very small, but then some of them I'm like just like the one I just showed, they're full or they're pretty much full. I'm just like, wow. I'm so glad I paid attention to the ground. I mean, especially if I'm seeing a lighter like that big that I just showed where the child safety is still on, and I was like, strike. I pick it up and I'm like, nice, instant flame. So I can add that to a kit or whatever and be like, yes, I got a flame source in there and I didn't even have to pay for it. That's awesome. Corey, I'm similar to some other channels. I'm actually gonna remove that one comment out because I'm actually preferring other words besides the submarine word. So I'm gonna remove that out. No offense. But I would rather prefer the word support. I'm leaning towards more support than bus or the submarine word. It's not you, man. It's just how things are on YouTube now. So I'm trying to, you know, get with the flow with things, and but you guys can freely use the word support. And you know, you guys can support each other as much as you want. Now remember, the best support you can give to a channel is not just that, you know, not just that red button, but go over there, watch a video or two, even if it's just one. Maybe it's just that 1-2 minute clip that most people can watch in a given time, have enough time to watch. You know, leave a comment too. Let them know that you've not only did you support them by busting over there or taking the submarine over there, but show them that you care so much that you left a comment too. You know, if you want to share it, that's cool and all. You want to hit that thumbs up, that's cool too, alright? Because lately that's how I've been doing this kind of thing. Not just, let's say, hopping from bus to bus to bus or submarine, but actually going to the channel, watching a video or two, then hitting the red thing or the bell thing. But that's just how I do it now. So if you see me kind of hopping on, you'll also see that I left a comment too. And most likely I've hit like in there. And usually if I say I share, I'll actually say that I'm sharing it. I'll actually write that I shared the video, just so you know. I mean, the thing about when you just hop on the bus, lots of people do that. It takes a lot more time to leave a comment at times and actually watch the video as a whole. Like, I understand not everyone can watch videos all the time, A lot of these videos are quite long. It's hard to even try to rewatch a live stream. I mean, things I like to do are like put the closed captioning on, and I speed up the video, the playback speed, like 1.25, maybe 1.5x times the speed, and just read the text. If I see something on the screen, I'll come back and turn it back to 1, or I'll kind of rewind and watch it again, just so I've seen it. But anyways, getting kind of off topic here. Back to the chat. Alright, alright. You guys are just supporting each other. That's awesome. I appreciate it. You guys doing that. I mean, there's lots of, like, what, millions of YouTube channels out there. Lots of content out there. So I appreciate everyone that drops by and gives that support. I appreciate that a lot. Alright, let's go back into the creation mode again. Yeah! Alright, Animal Lover 33, I'll catch you next time. Thank you for dropping by, I appreciate it. So, let's create some more here. Where is that here? Alright, alright. I got something here. Everyone's probably familiar with these spongy type of things that you would use in the shower. For example, no specific brand names, but I was gifted one, and I'm like, I'm probably not gonna use it, and I did. But what I did do is I removed it, removed it, you know, and stuff like that. So basically, it was like wrapped around and basically bigger than this, and you would use it as the scrub, right? I mean, you could keep it that way if you wanted to, but I decided to change it and just see how it is. I'm just like thinking, like, hey, I can use this like netting type of material. So it stretches a bit, so I could probably put like something into it, a different kind of container, I guess. You know, whatever I can store in here. Obviously, it's got holes, so obviously I'm not storing water or making it waterproof. But let's say I could put this in a tin survival kit, one of the smaller ones, and let's say I had a baggie that I want to fill with water. I can use this to reinforce it so I can actually carry it, and it's less likely for me to spill it or damage the bag itself, and keep the water in there. So if I had a baggie, I'd put this in here, and so I can carry it. Now another thing you could probably do with this is anyone that carries like soap, like a soap bar or something like that. Now soap is one of those things that, you know, not to make fun of it or whatever, but everyone's familiar with that kind of in the shower thing where the soap slips out of your hand. Well, you could put soap into this, you know, let's say, alright, the same soap, but then use the lighter, for example. If that was soap, put it in there, tie it off right here, for example. Now you got something that you can still grip that soap, but the soap can still come out when you apply water. And it would just get smaller and smaller and smaller. And you can undo the knot at the top, put a new bar of soap in, a new amount of soap in, keep going like that. That way, let's say you were using it by like a river or lake, for example, or even at home if you wanted to, I guess, or camping or anything like that. Less likely for it to slip out of your hand and drop in the water. Because if anyone's tried to pick up soap that's in water, sometimes it could be difficult. I mean, yeah, I guess you could cup it and try to lift it out, but something like that, I could just be like, grab it with one hand and actually be able to get enough grip to actually use it or pull it out of the water while still allowing the soap to come through. And similar to how what it was originally intended for, to help you scrub, kind of meshy type of thingy can still be used to scrub with, so I can be like, right. So lots of uses for kind of this netting type of material. You can get this type of stuff when you buy like vegetables or something like that, produce. There's probably other things, onions. There's probably a lot more. I think I've seen them with oranges, lemons, stuff like that. I don't think they come with apples. Usually apples come in a bag. So, and I got like for this size right here that I have, I probably have 4 or 5 of this size. And I've when I put in soap into a bag, if I do, that's how I store it now. I'll put it in here, then I'll put it in a baggie. So like I said, so if I gotta use it, it's not to slip out of my hands. Like, I take no credit for that whatsoever. I think I got that. I don't take any credit for that. I know I've seen it from somewhere else, from like a video that's dated back in from like 2013 or something like that. So I just can't remember where I saw it. I know I've seen it around though. Alright, I'm just gonna check on the side chat right here since I've been talking for a bit. I know you guys are talking a lot or chatting a lot. That's cool. Aww, can't you layer and puppy ramp? I appreciate your support very much. It wouldn't be the same without M Puppy Breath around on my live streams. Well, if you want to do that, I'll try to support you as much as I can for it. And most likely I probably paid forward. But that's just how I am. Now, I don't always pay forward, but most of the time I do. It's because, you know, I got stuff already. I don't per se need it, but I mean, I know other people could use it. Maybe have people that have less than I do, and I'd be like, well, you know what? I'll give them a better chance of getting it. All right, Lady Luck, thank you for dropping by. I appreciate your overall channel support. Thank you very much. And take care too, Lady Luck. So you guys were mentioning catch minnows or for a fish trap, I guess. I guess so. I guess providing I can get it wide enough, I mean, you might be able to do something with it. I mean, this could be used, let's say if you're catching fish or whatever, I could just put the fish in here and carry it. Or have it kind of in the water still and the fish is on the inside. So the fish can kind of, you know, live food doesn't spoil. You know, maybe. Not sure. Yo, it's Johnny with Cheap Things Outdoors. Welcome to CR's live stream. I always appreciate when you come by. I gotta bring it back out again. I gotta bring out the heart back out again. Gotta bring it back out again. So how's it going, G Things Outdoors? You know, I appreciate you sticking around with me for all these times. And yes, I did see your video. That's why I'm saying sticking around. You know, I watch you guys' videos, and I kind of like to especially if I just watch them, I kind of like to make the puns in there. Just so you guys know, I watched it. I watched it. A good 90% of it. Left a comment. And all that good stuff. Thank you for dropping by, Janelle. I appreciate it. For sticking around too. Thank you very much. And I'll see you later too, Janelle. Thanks. Alright. Now I've caught it back up to the chat once again. I'm just actually gonna show something here. It's kind of funny. You guys wouldn't believe me unless I showed it, so I'm just gonna show this off right here. There's hand sanitizer in here. I was just leaving it in there, and like it's a baggie, right? Resealable baggie. It was kind of funny. It evaporated and expanded, and actually inflated the baggie. Like, it's kind of funny. I was just like, I didn't even know it would do that, because originally it was flat, like with hand sanitizer like this. I was kind of messing around, and a couple of weeks later, I just kind of noticed this. I was just like, like there's hand sanitizer in there. I'm just like, I just thought it was kind of cool. So cool that I don't even want to open it. Like, it's inflated with alcohol. Yeah, it's inflated with alcohol. So just taking something, I could just be like, but anyways, I thought that was just kind of funny or unique or different. So I guess you can use alcohol to inflate something to a certain degree. I don't know. Hey, thank you, Will, for coming by just in time prepping. I appreciate it. Have a good night. Thank you very much. And I'll catch you on your next live stream. Catch you around the net. Catch you around on YouTube and all that good stuff. And have a good night, Will. Hey, Gray Man, never too late or too early to learn something new. Because to be honest, we're all just like, I'm gonna use survival as what I mean, but this applies to everything in life. We're just merely students learning about it in this big classroom called Earth. So, yeah, I'll just say it like that. Hello, Rare. Thank you for dropping by. I appreciate it. And welcome. How's it going, by the way? Alright, so let's get to something else. Now, everyone's familiar with bracelets. Now, in the survival kind of bushcrafting preparedness community, some people like to wear paracord bracelets on the wrist. Now, I know some people, some channels too, generally don't prefer that stuff on the wrist. And you know, it makes sense, right? If you're doing something with your hands, you're in the garden, well, you're probably gonna take off that paracord bracelet, for example, or whatever kind of bracelet like that. Or you're doing dishes, well, you don't want to get it wet. It's like wearing a watch, right? If you're wearing a watch, you know, you're digging with dirt or whatever, you take off the watch. Now, just because you don't want to do it like that doesn't mean you can't wear a paracord bracelet. So instead of putting it on wrists, which obviously I don't have, you can take one like this one and put it around your ankle instead. You still have it. It's not going to interfere, like, it's not that, let's pretend this is my foot. Yeah, I have a small foot. You know, and you could put it around your ankle. Now, especially if you're wearing pants, no one's gonna notice that. Yet you still have a little bit of cordage with you, and it's not gonna really interfere with what you're doing with your hands or with your wrist. It's not gonna get snagged on something if you're trying to get something out of your bag or something like that. And if you're playing around with dirt or whatever, it's not gonna get per se dirty or a bunch of dirt over it or a bunch of, you know, pine sap over it or something like that. Especially some of these bracelets that have more than just paracord, more than just a buckle. That might have like a whistle or, you know, a fire starter of some sort on there where you're generating sparks and stuff like that. I mean, I can put this on my wrist if I wanted to, but usually, like this one right here, I just put it around my ankle. So I just put it around my ankle, pull my cuff down, I got it with me, and I have no excuse for not having it with me. And if you want to go more extreme, you could probably wear one on both wrists and both ankles, and have, let's say, 30 feet of cordage with you, maybe some other stuff. So, I'll put this back on my ankle. And at times I forget I'm wearing it, but, you know, I've used them before. Like, obviously you don't have to undo your braid pattern that you have. You want to use the cordage as cordage for whatever. Ridgeline for shelter, emergency shelter, something like that. I've actually used these in everyday type of situation. I remember, now, I have friends that, you know, that I'm helping out and stuff like that. They were bringing back groceries and bags and stuff like that. I actually used this other one I have, and basically I would loop it around a bunch of bags, clip it, so I can carry all the bags at once, or at least more of them. Because some of these bags, especially if there's weight in them, like, let's say, detergent, dish soap, pop, like that, they get quite heavy, and, you know, that plastic starts to dig in your hands. I just use this, and that way all these bags are around it, and I can lift them all out, undo the buckle afterwards, pull it out, set the bags down, and now they're in the kitchen. But that's just something I've started to do a little bit more often. Now, what I'm trying to eventually do is replace the plastic buckles I have on these for metal ones. That way it's harder for it to break. So I can actually apply more pressure or tension to it, or weight to it. I remember being on, like, now, I generally do not take public transit, but I've actually used these before with public transit. Now, this is why I want a metal one, because it'd be more reliable and less likely to break, but anyone that's ever taken public transit, you know, you're not always gonna get a seat. Sometimes it's in rush hour, or it's busy, or it's an event, let's say New Year's, for example, or it's, let's say, here in Canada it'd be Canada Day, or in the US it'd be 4th of July. You're taking public transit, it's a sporting event, you're going to, you don't want to park, so you take public transit. Well, sometimes a bus would be full, so you gotta stand, and everyone's trying to find somewhere to hook onto. Well, sometimes I'll put these around, like the handles or whatever, just so I have a better handle. So something like this, and I'll just put it around something like a pole or something. That way I can hold it this way, so I don't actually have to keep holding onto the pole tight with my hand, or I could just loop it around my wrist or something like that. But that's just what I do, because it could be annoying trying to hold on to a pole the whole time, especially if you're trying to do something with, like, your phone or whatever, you know, your smartphone, and you're trying to multitask and stuff like that. Or sometimes for, like, shorter people, those things that are hanging, it doesn't hang low enough, so you gotta lift your hand way above your head. This gives me a little bit more reach, so I don't have to have my hand so up high. You know, unfortunately, not everyone's tall. Some people are shorter. You know, there's always pros and cons to height. Tall people can hit their head, while short people can't. Short people can't reach something, while tall people can reach something, like a cup or a mug. Alright, I'm just reading the comments again. That's awesome to hear, Corey. You know, I'm almost similar, not just with survivalism in general, but like the creativity behind it. There's always something more for me. There's always something more to learn, more to create. So, hence why I'm called and will be known as the guy that's always in creation mode. Because there's always something more to create. Yes! No limits in creation mode. Alright, Johnny, thank you for dropping by. Mr. Jeep Things Outdoors, I appreciate it. Thank you for dropping by. And all the channel support that you give me. It means a lot, man. Thank you. Oh, yeah, yeah, great, man. Yeah, boots. But if you're wearing boots, you can just put them back on your wrist again. Or clip them on somewhere else, like on a belt loop or something like that. Like these paracord type of bracelets, like they're fun. You can change it up, uh, modify it how you wish. But because of that clip part, you can clip it onto pretty much anything. I mean, I guess if you had long hair with a ponytail with a hair tie, I guess you could probably clip it onto that if you had that. Clip it onto your backpack, like, you know, if you had a strap, for example, put it around there. I've made a lot of different kind of bracelets, let's just say. Now, they're not always paracord. Like, for example, again, here's one right here that I just haven't have. This ain't paracord. Not even close. It's webbing and trail marking tape. Yes, I think this is what they call the Cobra weave. I think that's what I have on it. But yeah, I've done it with trail marking tape. And why? Just because I can. Just because I can. I was just practicing. When I was learning to learn about it, just practicing. That's just for fun too. You know, practicing and just trying to get better at it just by doing it. Sometimes the best way to learn something is just, I mean, like, you can read books, you can watch videos and stuff like that, but sometimes one of the best ways to learn something is just to do it. Make the mistakes. Learn from the mistakes and understand it from just doing it. Like, I never knew how to per se braid in the past, but I just did it, started doing it, even in a small scale, learning about it and being like, oh wow, this makes sense. And now most of the time I can just do it. I can just do it. Where lots of the channels would show it as with paracord, I've decided, I'm like, hey, I can do this not with just paracord, but I can do it with air cordage. So I'm just gonna read what you guys are writing. Hello, Bushcraft Dave. Welcome to the stream, Dave. Thank you for dropping by. I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. Sup, home runner? You in the zone? It's going. It's going. It's gone. Yeah, okay, I'm just kidding. Well, Corey, about coming back to that, what you just wrote about bus thing right there. I mean, do it at your own risk. I mean, if I'm holding on to it, I can still let go. But if it's around your wrist and it's stuck in like that, well, that's different. That's different. I try not to do it like that, but it's just basically so I can change the angle so I don't actually have to keep holding on like this. I can hold on like this instead. And it'll rotate or move. Or maybe sometimes I've done it before where I'm holding a bag or something like that. And I just clip it on. I know everyone on the bus would look at me weird. I'd be like, yeah, whatever. Yep, yep. GMO, Green Man, yep. Around a belt loop, yep, yep. You can do that too. I mean, pretty much anywhere like where you can tie something around, for the most part, you can do it with a bracelet, with a buckle. And of course, having a metal buckle would probably be better. A little bit heavier, but less likely to snap or break. Because I'm pretty sure a plastic buckle, that's gonna be the most vulnerable or more likely to break first. The cordage would probably not break first, but the plastic buckle would probably break first. Now, if it's a metal one, it's can handle more, I guess. Thank you, home runner. You love organizing, Bushcraft Dave? Yeah, that's awesome, man. I try to keep organized too. I mean, like, when you're. The thing is, I've said it a few times here and there about the deployment. When it's more organized, you don't. It's easier to get access to stuff. So, like, I know sometimes I've seen. Like, I'm not knocking the kid at all. These kits that I see. You know, if it works for you, it works for you. But then sometimes I see certain kits or setups where it's just like maybe a little bit more organization might help. Where it's not so scattered. Or if it's not scattered, it's like crammed together where you have the lighter's at the bottom of the kit and you need the lighter, but you gotta pull everything else out just to get to the kit. I mean, kit, just to get to the lighter, for example. And prioritize certain things. Like if it's a tin, for example, and prioritize it a little as much as you can, because it might be more important. It's gonna be more important, especially the bigger the kit gets, the bigger the bag gets, because you're gonna be able to fit more room. Well, you're gonna have more room to fit into it. Where organization of some sort would be pretty useful, I would think. Just so if you have let's say a backpack, normal backpack, nothing really special, doesn't have many pockets or whatever. You start adding some sort of organization thing to it, you're just gonna realize when, let's say, you need a fire kit, it's been so organized you could just be like, within a couple seconds, open the bag, pull out the fire kit, get that fire going. for example, or for something like first aid. Now, usually first aid, you don't know when you're gonna need it or how much or whatever. So generally speaking, you want it on outside or easier access to it. So if you gotta get it, gotta use it, you're bleeding because of a cut on your finger or whatever, you can get to it fast and tend to it right away. So it can, if you're hiking or whatever and you just, you cut your finger a little, you can go get that stuff right away, deal with it, and continue on. Instead of trying to, you don't want to be putting that first aid kit at the bottom of your bag. Nope. Because that means if you gotta get to it, you gotta, in time of need, you're gonna have to go all the way down just to get it out. So, anyways, I'm gonna read more of your guys' comments because you guys are probably commenting like crazy, and I'm glad I have the 7 seconds slow-mo on. Alright, well, Dave, Bushcraft Dave, I mean, let's just say there's more cordage out there. I did a whole video on my favorite cordage. I mean, yeah, paracord is cool, it's got inner strands and stuff like that, but there's air cordage, there's webbing type of cordage, like what I have here, for example. There's, tarred bank line that's been tarred. There's air cordage too. They all have their pros and cons. Some are lighter, some are heavier. I mean, there's Kevlar type of cordage, and then there's cordage that's thicker than paracord, but holds more weight, but it's also heavier too. I mean, and then there's air cordage that other people don't really per se would consider as cordage, but chain. Chain is similar to, could be used as a way of a cordage. For example, chain. So you could do similar things with chain that you could do with air cordage. I could make, and I've shown it in that video, and I think this is the one I had, but I mean, like, I can take this right now and make knots in it, like this. I probably could even make, like, an arbor knot if I wanted to, or a Canadian jam knot if I wanted to. I mean, this probably might hold more weight than paracord, but, on the downside, it's going to be heavier, because it's metal. But, because this is metal, paracord melts. You can't put that, I can put this in a fire, and it'll probably be fine, heating up a bottle or whatever, if with a tripod. With paracord, it's probably gonna melt or snap away because it's gonna melt, or melt and melt away. Yeah, well then too, bushcraft Dave. I mean, paracord, it's per se thinner too. You probably want something thicker, maybe like webbing or something like that, or something that's a little bit thicker, more what people would consider as rope. I mean, on my hammock, I don't use paracord for that. I use something thicker because there's more of a cushion, and I still have to update that. I mean, it's not the best hammock, but I just don't see myself using paracord for that. I mean, paracord's useful, it has its uses, but it's not the end-all be-all of cordage. It's just kind of like, how do I say, it's got its uses, but it's also got, it's not always the best cordage for the application. Let's just say it like that. Yeah, I'm just gonna say it like that. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Which kind of Dave? I'm not smart, man. I'm just that student that does his homework. Yeah, I'm just that student that does his homework, trying to learn more. I'm just merely, that student in the classroom. There's so many more people out there that are so much more knowledgeable, experienced, and skillful than I am. I'm just merely that student in first grade, while these other people, per se, are in high school, college level type of, if I use that as an analogy. Well, I like how you guys are tying up my side chat with literally a bunch of cordage. Alright, alright. I gotta stop with some of these puns tonight, but they're funny sometimes. So yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of cordage. It's funny, maybe one of these days I'll show it, maybe, but I have a bin full of cordage. That's not just paracord. There's other cordage in there. I mean, I've shown other cordage too. Because the thing is about cordage is that you might not have enough of it, or you need more of it, so you're gonna use something else. I mean, yeah, you could probably improvise to a certain degree. Like, let's say, like coming back to these examples of like people stuck on the side of the road or whatever, in a car or whatever, they're cannibalizing their vehicle for materials, right? Because they realize, hey, I gotta walk out and no one knows I'm out here, right? And they're like thinking, you know, okay, let's use the car for materials, right? I mean, the car is not gonna help you get out. Let's say you crashed or something like that, or you broke an axle, or your wheels are bent. You can't get out. There's no way to get it out. And it's like, let's say you're on the back road or something like that, and you're thinking, okay, I got two options here. I can either stay or go. And you weigh the pros and cons behind it. You make the decision. You stop, stop, slow down, think, observe, and plan, that acronym, and you make a plan at the end. Should I stay or should you go? And, depending on what goes on, you're just thinking, hey, if I'm going, I might as well use up some of these resources that's with the vehicle right now. So, I mean, let's say it's wire, right? You don't have the the proper cordage, or even if you did, right? Maybe you just have a paracord bracelet on for some reason, right? For some reason you didn't plan ahead on this trip. You didn't bring kind of a vehicle bag, and for some reason you don't have this kind of GHB get home type of bag with you. For some reason, not sure why, but you don't, and you're gonna improvise that. Well, I mean, there's wire that you can use in a vehicle. You can kind of braid it together to increase its potential strength. Is it ideal? No. Would work depending on the application. But yeah, I just wanted to say that part. Because if you bring in stuff with you and plan it ahead, you don't have to improvise. Because the thing about improvising is that, well, you gotta improvise it. It's not gonna be per se ideal for the situation. And you might have to be quite gentle with it or easy with it. Because it's, it was per se not meant for that reason. It might work, it might help you out. Then there's other times where it's just like you improvise something and it's just like after first use, first night it broke. Well, and you gotta do it again. You gotta make it again. So, sometimes planning ahead or preparing it ahead in advance is better than trying to improvise and use these so-called survival related type of things you can do. I mean, those are good to know, but if you prepare it ahead in advance, you wouldn't need to get into that. Because instead of being an just instead of being per se in a situation where you feel like, hey, I'm in trouble here, it's just merely inconvenience to you. So instead of having to cannibalize your vehicle, for example, truck or whatever, you get a get home bag with you or vehicle kit with you with supplies which you can use, which actually has like paracord in it, for example, or bank line or webbing with you, so you don't have to cannibalize the vehicle yet. I'm not saying you can't, but you don't per se need to. Which means that you can still come back to the vehicle and kind of tow it out and get it to the garage and still have the vehicle. Instead of, you know, having to come back to it and realize, well, I had to cannibalize it, which means I have to use it, and it'll help you save your life per se, but yeah. There's differences between preparing it beforehand and having to use these survival tricks or methods. Because if you prepared beforehand, you won't need to rely on the survival type of tricks or, the H word. I mean, there's a fine line between that. So, I hope that kind of made sense in there. So like I said, I used the car on the side of the road as the situation. Anyways, reading the chat again. Oh. All right, Corey, survival. Thank you for dropping by. I appreciate you taking the time to visit me and to chat it up on the live stream. These live streams are very interactive. That's why I prefer them. Just exchange ideas, knowledge, and of course, no one. Well, I guess I could just say everything, but you guys have the brain. But sometimes everyone hates typing, especially if you're trying to type on like a phone or whatever. Sometimes it could be annoying, and everyone knows about the spell checks or the autocorrect, and you're trying to write tone and it writes ton for you or something crazy like that. you know, coming back to the cordage again, I've glanced through your guys' comments. Even though I'm not reading them out loud, I'm reading them in my head. Now, again, I've actually showed this in the last live stream, but I know some of you didn't watch that. I understand that. But one thing I started to do is, now, I talked about this, and I've mentioned this before. Now, I've taken a water bottle here. I've actually added metal, I'm not going to use the word metal cordage, but wire, for layman's terms, around this. So, now, this has water in here. Now, basically, I used 2 arbor knots, Canadian jam knots around it. It's probably a little short, but I'll have to adjust it. Basically here, if I can get this. Well, you'll have to take, it's a little bit short, I probably have to make it a little bit longer, but let's see, if this was longer, or I had a carabiner, because this is metal type of cordage, not bank line, it's not paracord, because you wouldn't be able to do it with it. I can then, using a tripod type of system, I can hang this bottle, fires below, for example, and hang this. Now, I know there's something like a fish mouth spreader you can put inside, but not everyone has a fish mouth spreader, and you might not always have that fish mouth spreader with the container. And let's say the ground's uneven, or you can't get it into the coals, it's not sitting right for some reason. And the thing is about water, when it's boiling, it starts to shake. Anyone that's put a pot on the stove, when it starts boiling, it starts shaking because the movement of the water. Where if you were hanging it, it would just be like going back and forth like this kind of deal. But it'd be supported from the top, not from the bottom. So instead of having that water boiling and going like this, and slim chance of it tipping and putting out your fire, or making your coals colder anyways, or getting them wet, I decided now to put wire around my bottles so I can support them from the top, kind of like a bale, or a baler, I think that's what it's called, and do it like that. Now I have to make this line a little bit longer, but you get the idea. Oops. So, and yes, there's actually water here. That's why I can't tip it, because I don't want to actually tip it over. But you get the idea. If I had a carabiner, for example, I can dangle that above. And one good thing I like about this is it doesn't weigh that much. Wire weighs pretty much next to nothing. There's a very minimal penalty for the weight. There's barely any bulk because I'm barely taking out any room because I'm using the surface area around the neck of the bottle. And usually these bottles have a little lip, so the wire's not gonna come through. And basically, sometimes what I'll just do, make sure I put the lid back on before I do that, is I'll just take like a ranger band, put it around the bottle, around where that wire is, just so it stays still, and just do it like this. That way, if I had to hang this bottle, I don't per se need a fish mouth spreader, for example. I mean, a fish mouth spreader, technically it's heavier than this. Technically it takes a little bit more room than this, and than wire would. And I mean, this wire will For a small fire, small campfire, it'll handle it. It's not gonna break. And there's no way, I'm pretty sure there's no way that the container's gonna hold that much water that it's not break. You know, if it was a pot or something, just use thicker wire or more wire. I mean, some of these bottles, maybe it's a smaller mouth opening. You're not to be able to fit a fish mouth spreader in there anyways. Or something similar to this. Now, let's say there's no handle. It's still got a lip on it. I can't use a fish mouth spreader for this. Yes, maybe I can sit it on top of coals and get it to work, but because it's got the lip, I can put the the metal type of wire around it and do it like that too. Or, you know, if you want to, drill holes through it and go from that. But not everyone wants to drill through their cup, and you're probably not gonna drill holes through your water bottle, because clearly it would leak. So that's one of the things I've started to do. I've started to add that into with the water bottles that I have, with the kits or bags or pouches or backpacks I have. That way, I got that option. I got that option already. Anyways, checking back on the chat. Dave, you want to write an emoji stuff for the whole day? So you'd just be like this random thumbs up, wave, emoji. Or something like that. That'd be funny just to see if someone could actually do that. That'd be funny, I guess. I guess you would have to really get creative with some of that stuff. Just be like, it'd be like kind of like writing with pictures of some. Yeah, I guess it would be like writing with pictures. You'd be like walking into the live stream using the door emoji, and you know, or something like that. I don't know. Or if you had to go, you use that door emoji, some arrow pointing out or something. I don't know. It's kind of funny. Yeah, yeah. That too, Gray Man. I guess clothes hangers too. I'm actually been considering. I'm like, could clothes hangers, the metal clothes hangers, they're they seem thick enough. Not sure, but I haven't tried it or tested that out. But I was just thinking, I'm like, hey, maybe you could like this right here. You know, it's gonna be thicker than. Oh, sorry. Sometimes I gotta remember that I'm not looking at the screen, so I gotta make sure I'm in frame here. This is why I have these props, so I know these are in frame, so it's easy for me to realize that I'm actually in frame. But I was just saying, maybe the metal clothes hangers could be used if you snip them. Maybe they could be used as fishing hooks. Not sure, because I'm not an expert on fishing or anything like that. But can fishing hooks, can their diameter be too thick? Like, obviously, if it's like this thick, it's too thick. But a clothes hanger, I mean, It's not that thin, but it's not that thick. I guess, I don't know, I guess one would just have to just try it out, test it out for themselves and see if they can fish with it, land a bite, catch a fish. I mean, if you're catching a fish, it can't be that bad. I mean, but if you're not getting any bites or you haven't caught a fish with it, well, maybe it doesn't work as well as you think. You know, coming back to practicing and trying stuff out. I mean, a lot of things, unless you've tried it out, it's just in theory. In theory, this works. In theory, this, alright? But you want to test those theories out so you have actual observations where you've physically seen observations. For example, like the fishing hook, right? Be like, hey, I caught a fish with it, I got bites with it. You've actually seen that. You know, this might just work. XYZ might just work here, for example. Now this is thinner. And it's a little bit, unlike like pop tabs, paper clips, or like safety pins. This is much thicker, so it's harder for it to bend. I just feel like, you know, if you had to use those things to make a fishing hook, yeah, but I have access to better materials, thicker materials, stronger materials, so I'm gonna use this instead. I mean, it's gonna be barbless, but I can make a lot of these. It's very easy to make too. Just need something to make a point, some pliers, bend it into the shape. Now I haven't heat treated these yet, so they're not, well, heat treated yet, but I mean they're I can't undo this by hand, or at least it's really hard to undo it by hand with just my fingers. I would need pliers to get some more leverage into it to actually do it, because it was actually hard to actually bend it with pliers in the first place too. I made a few of these already, so I'll probably keep making these. So at least I'll have ample supply of these kind of DIY homemade fishing hooks. So I have no excuse for not having a fishing hook. Yeah. I like how my bottle just rolled by. Yes, this I was using to store the hook in. It just rolled in into the frame. That's awesome to hear, Bushcraft Dave. See? See, you're never too old or too young to learn something. That's what I like. How even these older people that are older than per se us, and I use that very, very loosely, that that you know, for example, a senior can learn how to use this kind of stuff, text message, emojis, like you were saying, as well as someone that's 15. And then in that same way, someone that's 15 can learn how to, let's say, do something that a 70-year-old has known all their life. Like, you should never let age dictate what you can do. Or even your physical form, you know, your physical height. Don't let it dictate what you can do. Just because it's harder doesn't mean it's impossible. You might have to try harder at it to get it to go, but it's still in the realm of possibility. It's still possible. Okay. I mean, maybe maybe I'll try that out. I'll make next time I get access to some um, clothes hangers, metal clothes hangers. I don't have as many as I used to because I've actually changed the organization of the closet where I'm hanging less and using like racks or shelves more because I've decided to roll up clothes more often than hanging them. But yeah, I'll keep that in mind. I'll keep that in mind. And again, they're large pieces of continuous straight wire. So you can make the hook as big or as small as you want. So you can make a bigger hook if you want to catch bigger fish, or make a smaller hook to catch smaller fish or big or larger fish. So, depending on what you want to do and stuff like that. I mean, stuff like metal clothes hangers is quite abundant for the most part. Most people can get access to it. I mean, like the fishing hook, this hook that I made right here, this metal just came from something that's very common. I'll have to try it out just to see how well it works, but I don't see this not working. I don't see this not working right here. Jeez, I gotta make sure I'm in frame. So, I don't see it not working. And the worst, not worst, probably one thing is I just have to make the eye better or tighter. That way the line, fishing line, uh, the leader won't come out. And I guess heat treating it would probably help too, to kind of hold that shape. So it'll expand and contract into that shape again, into this shape, and kind of like finalize it. So it's harder for it to be undone. That is awesome, Gray man. That's awesome to hear. Bushcraft Dave, you'll probably say that your field goal percentage was pretty good too, hey? Hey, Bushcraft Dave, I appreciate you coming by. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Just like everyone that came by, I greatly appreciate it. Maybe I rambled a little bit, but you know, sometimes I just want to share. I just want to share. So, yeah, so thank you very much. I haven't tried that yet, Gray Man, making a fishing hook out of a stick yet. I've seen that before. I've seen it before. Seen videos on it. I don't see it being that hard to do. I think you just kind of have to find that kind of Y shape not Y shape, but that V shape. And such and such. And maybe having some tools to whittle it or refine it down to an actual hook shape. I don't know. You know, I've never said that I'm no bushcrafter by any means, but I do like to create. That I admit. So I wouldn't mind learning how to do that, or at least trying it at least once. At least once. Just trying it out. You know, whether or not I get good at it or whatever, it remains, you know, to be seen, but at least I've tried it out. So at least once, where if I had to redo it like again for real, or because I had to, I'd be like, hey, I've done this once, I can do this, right? Yeah, you know, maybe give me some more confidence being, hey, I've done this once at least, I can do this again, come on, Sierra, you can do this, right? Depending on the resources, and be like, hey, yeah, I did it, awesome, and it's even better than the last time. And the thing is, when you're, you know, learning about something, regardless of what it is, there's gonna be a learning curve. You're not probably not gonna be able to get it right away, where it just clicks. But because you've done it at least once, and hopefully more, and next time around, you're faster at making it. You know, like with uh, weaving, or let's say braiding. You know, I wasn't great at it at first, but after the first 10th time, I've gotten better at doing it. You know, some of these easier ones now, I could do it like the back of my hand. It's like those knots. It's just like you just practice at it. Now, you know, maybe Greyman, you can, you know, understand what I'm coming from. Where it's just like you could do it like back of your hand. You don't even have to look at it. You'd be like, taking some cordage and be like closing your eyes and be like, hey, look, I can make like right here. Look, guys, I made a slip knot, the Arbor Canadian jam knot, or something like that, where it just comes like the back of your hand. Well, the back of this hand. You know it like the back of your hand. Just because you practiced it so many times, you know it inside out. You know how to troubleshoot it if you screwed up or whatever, or if the materials are slightly different. You could be like, oh yeah, yeah. You know, maybe it's not cordage like this, but you know, something else. Alright, well, I think I'm gonna close off the show here in a few minutes here. You know, thank you for everyone that dropped by. I greatly appreciate it. Very, very much. Oh, that's awesome to hear. Great man. You must be very knowledgeable or experienced to from what you've learned. It's not just, you know, here and there kind of thing, but you know, you've done it years and years and years and years, where you probably made mistakes and learned from them, gotten better at doing something, and just like you know it more and more like the back of your hand, like I kind of said earlier. So yes, I am gonna close the show in a few minutes here because it is getting late and I don't have much people on right now. So anyways, Special thanks to everyone that dropped by. Everyone, Green Man, Bushcraft Dave, G Things Outdoors, Sue Nelson, Nathaniel's Adventures, Jeanette came by. I'm trying to I must be tired because I'm trying to remember everyone. And, you know, many other people that dropped by. Even for a second, I appreciate it very much. Because, you know, no one needs to come to anyone's videos, but you decided to come to mine. Even for a minute, I appreciate it very much. So, like always, anyone out there, you or me, you don't have to be the best person in the world, or the awesomest person, or the smartest person, or the tallest person, or the shortest person, or the skinniest person, most intelligent person in the world. Anyone can create a better future today. So, like always, my outro. As the world changes, so must oneself to reach a new level of skill and knowledge. One must practice. Now, a single person can't help everyone in this world, but one person can help someone in this world. And until the next video for me, the next live stream, that next kid video, that next creation mode, that next, well, just that next video. It's peace out from the guy that's always in creation mode. CR. And I'll catch you all next time. And thank you for everyone that dropped by. Thank you.